Tuesday, 11th of September 2001, 8:32 am. En route to Los Angeles International Airport from Washington Gills is American Flight 77, a 10-year-old Boeing 757-223 with the registration N644AA. This aircraft was built in 1991 and was delivered to American Airlines in May 1991. The flight crew included Captain Charles Burlingame, aged 51, who was a Naval Academy graduate and a former Navy fighter pilot. His co-pilot is 39-year-old David Charboy. Purser Ren May, flight attendants Michelle Heidenberger, Jennifer Lewis, and Kenneth Lewis made up the cabin crew. Amongst the 58 passengers on board Flight 77 are 5 hijackers and members of the Al-Qaeda terrorist organization. Lead hijacker and pilots Hani Hanjur, Nawaf al-Hazmi, Khalid al-Midha, Salam al-Hazmi, and Majid Moqed. Hani Hanjur trained at the CRM Airline Training Center in Scottsdale, Arizona, earning his FAA commercial pilot certificate in April 1999. American 77 is currently cruising at 33,000 feet when it is instructed by Indianapolis Air Traffic Control to climb to 35,000 feet. This was to be the last communication between Air Traffic Control and the pilots of American, as at 8:52 am, hijacker pilot Hani Hanjur and Nawaf al-Hazmi stormed the cockpit and dragged both pilots out to where the other 3 hijackers are, forcing them and the passengers to the back of the aircraft. At 8:54, as the plane flew in the vicinity over Pike County, Ohio, it began to deviate from its normal assigned flight path and turned south. 2 minutes later, at 8:56, the plane's transponder was switched off. The hijackers set the flight's autopilot on a course heading east towards Washington, D.C. The FAA was aware at this point that there was an emergency on board the airplane. By this time, Flight 11 had already crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, and Flight 175 was known to have been hijacked and was within seconds of striking the South Tower. After the learning of the second hijacking involving an American Airlines aircraft and the hijacking involving United Airlines, American Airlines' Executive Vice President Gerald Appery ordered a nationwide ground stop for the airline. The Indianapolis Air Traffic Control Center, as well as American Airlines' dispatchers, made several failed attempts to contact the aircraft. At the time the airplane was hijacked, it was flying over an area of limited radar coverage with air traffic controllers unable to contact the flight by radio. At 9:03 am, United 175 hits the World Trade Center North Tower. In response, the North American Aerospace Defense Command places 2 F-16s at Langley Air Force Base to battle stations. At 12 minutes past 9, flight attendant Renee Ray calls her mother and informs her of the hijacking. She then contacts American Airlines headquarters, who are already aware of the situation. At 9:33 am, American 77 makes a sharp right descending turn into Washington, D.C. A C-130 Hercules near the White House is ordered to pursue American 77 and relay information on its sightings to air traffic control. As Flight 77 was 5 miles west-southwest of the Pentagon, it made a 330-degree spiral turn clockwise. At the end of the turn, it was descending through 2,200 feet, pointed toward the Pentagon and downward Washington. While level above the ground, and seconds from impact, the wings clipped 5 street lampposts and the right wing struck a portable generator, creating a smoke trail seconds before smashing into the Pentagon. At 9:37:46, the plane hit the Pentagon at the first floor level and unleashed a fireball that rose 200 feet above the building. At the time of the attacks, approximately 18,000 people worked on the Pentagon, 4,000 fewer than before renovations which began in 1998. The section of the Pentagon that was struck had recently been renovated at a cost of $250 million, which housed the Naval Command Center. The fatalities at the Pentagon included 55 military personnel and 70 civilians. Of those 125 killed, 92 on the first floor, 31 were on the second floor, and 2 were on the third. The US Army suffered 75 fatalities, 53 civilians and 22 soldiers, while the US Navy suffered 42 fatalities, 9 civilians and 33 sailors. Lieutenant General Timothy Maud, an Army Deputy Chief of Staff, was the highest-ranked military officer killed at the Pentagon. Also killed was retired Rear Admiral Wilson Flagg, a passenger on the plane. The flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder were recovered at 3:40 PM on September the 14th by a fireman who was searching through the field of burnt debris at the spot where American 77 impacted the building. The FBI agent sent both devices to the National Transport Safety Board for further analysis. No usable segment from the cockpit voice recorder were recovered according to the NTSB report, which stated that most of the magnetic tape responsible for recording data was fused into some sort of charred plastic lump. Early estimates on rebuilding the damaged section of the Pentagon were that it would take 3 years to complete. However, the project moved forward at an accelerated pace and was completed by the first anniversary of the attack. On September 12, 2002, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld and General Richard Myers, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, dedicated the victims of the terrorist attack on the Pentagon Memorial at Arlington National Cemetery. The memorial specifically honours the 5 individuals for whom no identifiable remains were found. This included Dana Falkenberg, age 3, who was on board American Airlines Flight 77 with her parents and older sister. A granite marker 4.5 metres high was erected in their honour.